Hello everyone. This is lecture 9 for economic issues in public administration. We have the last 3 lectures including this. Now, I really appreciate for your patience to keep listening to my limited English pronunciation. But I'll do my best for the last 3 lectures. In the previous lecture, we learned principal agent model, which applies information asymmetry concept to the public sector in order to identify government failure. The model assumes that public officials tend to be shirking by utilizing information asymmetry between principal and agents. A solution of the model for that shirking behavior is to introduce contract-based employment rather than tenure, and that employment contract should include monitoring system and incentive structure. In this lecture, we'll see another solution for inefficient government provision. It's more radical than principal agent model because the government give up providing a service and ask private firms or a non-profit organization to provide that service. Specifically, we'll see why government contracts some services out and when that contract out can be efficient in terms of transaction cost. When we pursue cost efficiency in public services, economic concept transaction cost can give us new perspective. According to academic research, including Fredrickson 2006, the number of contracting out in the US government has been growing. That strong trend of contracting out comes from the basic notion that private firms are better at delivering service than government. Specifically, in service delivery, government operation is restricted by many regulations or too strong labor unions. On the other hand, private organizations are free from these constraints. Furthermore, too many regulations do not allow the public sector to change their service delivery according to new demands of clients, or also they cannot innovate something new. On the other hand, without regulations, private agencies can be more responsive to new demands of clients. Also, under competition, private agencies are urged to innovate something new to win the competition. So how can public agencies increase technical efficiency in service delivery? Please note that technical efficiency is the same meaning as X efficiency we learned in lecture 6. So it is to minimize cost to produce a commodity which has the same quality. A possible solution for inefficient public service delivery is to introduce competition through contracting out. Specifically, by contracting a public service out, private agencies compete to get that job. That competition among private firms can increase technical efficiency and reduce government spending for that service. We've covered the basic logic of contracting out. Actually, many scholars have provided empirical evidence to support this logic, where contracting out can increase technical efficiency of public services. This academic trend can be seen as a part of new public management, which applies private firms' skills to public service delivery. In fact, based on new public management studies in the late 80s or 90s, many countries conducted public service reform such as privatization and contracting out. However, most of these studies had methodological flaws. For instance, the study focused on only one case, but concluded that contracting out is efficiency in general. Also, their sample size was sometimes too small. Among the several flaws of these studies, this lecture will focus on measures of expenditure, Actually, the past studies focused only on production cost and ignored transaction cost. Now we move to the core issue of this lecture, economic theory of transaction cost. The original theory of transaction cost deals with all the types of organizations, including private and public organizations. The theory starts to argue why organizations buy certain goods rather than making goods by themselves. In the theory, decision-making in an organization regarding internal or external production is called buy or make decision. As you read in the course readings, economists such as Ronald Coase and Willie Emerson identify that buy or make decision is influenced by not only production cost but also transaction cost. The past studies focused only on production cost. Simply saying, production cost is monetary cost to produce goods or services. So this is a traditional notion of cost. On the other hand, transaction cost is non-monetary cost of making economic exchanges. For instance, cost of finding suppliers, also cost of negotiating or monitoring. Let's think about a case where we purchase goods rather than making. The price of a good is very cheap in a store according to reputation. However, it's quite difficult to find the place of the store. So the cost of finding that place is very high. As a consequence, total cost of production and transaction would be higher than other stores. As a consequence, we might just buy these goods in a store near our place. Let's think about another example of monitoring suggested by principal agent model. A principal will hire a professional monitor to increase productivity of a team. However, to hire a professional monitor, principal needs to find a professional monitor who is really good, also who is familiar with their jobs. First, to make a contract with that monitor, principal needs to negotiate with that monitor about cost or tasks. Sometimes they might need to decide what kind of criteria should be adopted in performance evaluation. If the cost of making such contract is too high, principal might decide to monitor team members by him or herself. So the main focus of this lecture is when contracting out can be cost efficient in terms of both production and transaction costs. When we only see production cost, bidding or tendering to make a contract can automatically reduce cost because we'll take the cheapest price among many suppliers. However, when we see both production and transaction costs, the cheapest price doesn't mean lowest cost because that goods and service might require buyers to have higher cost of finding suppliers or making contracts. So this is the end of this video. In the next video, what kind of service characteristics tend to have high transaction cost? So see you in the next video.